All right, so this game is the GoPro footage of that previous upload, which was from the side. This team I'm playing against is my Blades of Steel team, and I'm on the Stars team. Every time I kind of played against the Blades of Steel this year, except for playoffs, just because they're like one of the top teams, it's fun to play against them. They have a lot of talent, they have a lot of firepower, and it's always kind of just fun to play against your own teammates. And I've been with them for a really long time compared to like the Stars, so I just play for the Stars to ideally give them a better chance of winning. But you'll see how that one goes in this one. We're not going to talk gear or anything. I talked about that a little bit in the other video, but the only thing I'll really mention, and you could actually see it better in the other video, is this is like an NHL goalie cut jersey. So it doesn't have a logo on it, but it's like a Reebok authentic, made in Canada. I think it was made for the Swedish league at the time, and no logo on the crest or anything, but this thing is so tight over this warrior chest. It's so big. I kind of look like the Michelin Man with it just because of how tight it is, but it is an NHL chest, but that just shows how big the warrior chest kind of really plays and everything. At the end of this one, we'll go over the goals and kind of just talk about how everything went down. And you want to support the channel, and you need a base layer and a protective, kind of supportive base layer that helps protect your growing as well as your hips. Check out the Tech. This is the Pro 1.0 pant, so this one is not quite as restrictive, and this is kind of tight right here in this X pattern. You might have seen these as Under Armour before, or Bauer for the hockey specific ones. There's also the Core 3.0, which is a lot stiffer, as you can see. Really helps protect my growing and keeping it kind of in place and make sure it doesn't overstretch itself. There's a discount code, and you click the link in the description. Use that discount code to get a discount off, help support myself, as well as get you some pretty awesome base layer pants that really do help with injury prevention and help stabilize your core while playing. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel without buying anything, check out links in the description to Patreon, buy me a coffee. Everything through there comes, again, back into the channel so I can make more content and doing real reviews.
Y'all
ready for this?
So playing these guys is always tough. They, like I mentioned, they have a lot of firepower. They can score a lot of goals. They have a few people on the team that have like the harder shots in the league. The one guy who got me in the neck has a cannon, and the other guy who scores, like when I try chicken wing and it goes under my glove, he also has a very hard shot. There are two guys who are in warm-ups, like I feel the shots, and they're just absolutely heavy cannons of shots. And there's people in this league that have played pretty high-level hockey, including like the AHL, and these guys shoot harder than them. So I totally get it, and I see them kind of just picking corners and blowing pucks by people kind of night after night, and I get to be on the receiving end of that here, which was evident in this one. Overall, my team did a decent job. Like, they came back a little bit, but really the Blades of Steel can kind of play with their food sometimes. I mentioned that there's a few teams in here where they get like a lead, they kind of take their foot off the gas, and that happens a lot when I'm playing goalie for them. And that kind of happened a bit here too, where they had like a 5-0 lead, so they didn't really care, and they kind of just let the game kind of fall back towards the Stars a bit, but really they had full control the whole time. So the first goal ends up being kind of a weird 2-on-1, and then it becomes kind of a different 2-on-1, and my D can never really get settled into position right. Once the guy who originally has the puck, and he shoots from everywhere all the time, so I have to play him 100% shot, which I do here, and he really isn't a huge danger, but also his passing is going to be very cross crease and hard to get to. Tries to make a pass, hits my D skate, kind of flutters out into the middle of the ice. Their other forward picks it up, makes a decent play, pulling it to his forehand to kind of pull me with him. I have to follow him, can't just sit in the middle of the ice here. I follow him, he passes back door. I slide over in an attempt to block like the instant play here. And the guy who is short side, very good hockey player, he scores on people a lot, makes a pretty good play, and you can see his stick even like flex off that pass, pulls it back out front and under my stretched paddle. And I tried to get my paddle on this to kind of stretch out. I wanted to cover down low if he tried to shoot right away, which I had. But then when I'm kind of reaching out there with my paddle, it goes under the blade of my stick and into the net. This kind of is a case where it happens because it hits my finger protection on my stick. But really just the way my whole body was and the way that was balanced, no matter what was going to happen there, that stick was coming off the ice. So it's not really a blocker fault at all. It's just I'm stretching out, trying to make a save, and he slides it under me, fully stretched out. It was a great play by him coming back and not just shooting it right away, because if he did shoot it right away, I probably would have stopped it. So the next one is an absolutely terrible goal by me. This is that guy who has an absolute cannon of a shot, and he shoots it, and it just goes under my glove. It hits my fingers, hits my pad, and goes in, and I couldn't squeeze this one. I just screw this one up and don't track it all the way. My glove does a half circle motion instead of going straight down and jabbing at the puck, and that causes me to miss it just by a little bit. Dude is a hard shot, but this is 100% one I need to save and catch, and no one front tipped it or anything. It was just me missing this one. Third goal was, again, kind of the same group of forwards that scored the first one. Play goes out into the middle. I'm following the guy out front. He does kind of a little pump fake, but then holds onto it for so long, and just the way he was reaching, I thought he was going to shoot this, and then he kind of does shoot it, but not really. Kind of takes a shot towards 5-hole, but because of just how it comes off, and it's kind of a lot slower and not where I'm expecting, I go down, and it just hits my thigh rise, and you can see this actually in the front view way better. Hits my thigh rise, rebound goes right out to the guy in front who scored the first goal, and he just shovels in the garbage pretty easily. It's another tough goal. Guy out in front who isn't really covered, and the original play, like I made the save, it was an ugly save. I need to have a better rebound on here, but the whole thing, just kind of how it broke out, was just awkward, and that's what threw me off. And it was a bad butterfly move, and me being caught off guard was that. And then a rebound and goes in, so not a pretty one. The next goal is that guy who scored again with that shot on the glove. I mentioned here the cannon, and he makes another really nice shot here and picks the corner. And the weird part about this, when you kind of freeze this right when he shoots, it looks like I am almost centered to the puck. Clearly I'm not. If his body was rotated a bit, so his right leg was kind of pointing more towards the net and not the direction he was, I really kind of would have been centered on this, but he puts it over my glove hand when I try to chicken wing a bit, like beats me, but I'm just slightly off angle on this. Ideally here I'm playing a bit of a pass because the guy is coming on a 2-on-1. Really I gotta stop this as well. I wouldn't challenge anymore. I just need to be more square to it and over a little bit, but his little kind of pump fake thing he does kind of put me off just a little bit, and I just didn't get it, and it's a pretty nice shot, to be honest. Finally, the last one is through a screen that I did not see until the last second. I stop and try to look around my D in front, and doing so, guy already shoots. By the time I pick it up, I'm already kind of moving in the wrong direction, so I just drop and try to get it, and my glove doesn't stay square up. It kind of curls over, which is not a glove problem, it's a me problem. I just missed this. Hits the top cuff of my glove and goes in, and I just whiffed on this one as well. I played this wrong. I needed to be out more. I needed to be more aggressive, searching kind of around this. If I looked left instead of right, I probably would have caught this in terms of where the puck was coming, but I saw the guys going to the left, so I tried to look around them the other way. The puck came off at a weird time, and I just totally missed this completely. There was that guy coming back door that I had to be weary about, so really you don't want to challenge all that much more here. You really just want to make the save, and unfortunately, I didn't do that. So overall, like I said, the game was pretty good and decent. They have a lot of firepower, and they scored a bunch of goals on me that I probably should have had, but they go through me, and it was just kind of one of those nights. I have a hard time beating this team, but they're so good offensively, and like if you give them any time in the slot or any time alone, they basically end up scoring regardless of who's they're playing against. That's kind of how it ends up being, and we kind of gave them a decent amount of time out alone, and they ended up scoring. So it is what it is, but it's always a blast to play against them, and I can't wait to do it next season as well.
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.